Let me tell you something about this guy. He has herpes. I heard your doctor said it was the most herpes he'd ever seen.
Professional wrestling has been around for a very long time. In fact, it goes all the way back to the 1920s with traveling carnivals.
I told you.
And even though its popularity has ebbed and flowed over the years, it's now bigger than ever, with promotions all over the world, and has given audiences some amazing moments. It seems like kids of every generation go through a wrestling phase. My dad and uncles watched Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. My older cousins grew up as Hulkamaniacs and wore Ultimate Warrior shirts. And I personally grew up during the Attitude Era, which saw the rise of wrestling icons like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, and Triple H.
Damn Triple H! Damn his soul!
As I've gotten older, I've become more interested in the lives of the people behind the larger-than-life characters that step into the ring every night. I find their stories of why they wanted to live this very hard life on the road endlessly fascinating. One of those stories, the Von Erich family, happens to be the subject of the movie that we're going to talk about today. Do you like big men in small trunks?
Oh yeah.
Well, then I've got a movie made just for you. Grab a folding chair and tag your partner in, kids, as we get a spoiler-free look at the Iron Claw.
The cream will rise to the top.
So the Iron Claw starts like any great movie, with dudes working out.
Gotta be in top physical condition for today, Gary.
You see, this is the Von Erich family, made up of 4 brothers, Kevin, Danny, Carrie, and Mike, and their father Fritz Von Erich, who was a pro wrestler who tried, but never really hit the big time. But he did manage to turn his love of the business into the WCCW, a Texas-based wrestling promotion that was part of the NWA. No, I mean the National Wrestling Alliance, which was home to big names in the wrestling world at the time, like Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes, and Ric Flair.
Limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun!
And over the years, 2 of his sons have followed him in his footsteps as a professional wrestler. And at long last, Kevin is starting to climb the ladder in the wrestling world. But while he has the skills in the ring, he doesn't quite have the skills on the mic. And after a match with NWA champion Harley Race doesn't go as planned, Kevin's future becomes uncertain.
And I don't care if there's 60,000 people there cheering for Von Erich. He still has to beat me.
That summer, Carrie Von Erich, who is training for the Olympics, gets the sad news that the United States is boycotting the Summer Olympics. So, not knowing what to do next, Carrie comes back home to Texas, and his dad convinces him to join his brothers in wrestling. And the 3 of them not only become a dominant force in the Texas wrestling territory, but begin to make names for themselves around the world. But sadly, the life of a professional wrestler comes at a cost, and as their bodies get more and more beaten up, and it becomes harder to meet their father's expectations, the movie we end up with is well made, well acted, and emotionally impactful, but it may be a bit too slow for people who don't already know about this story. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the slower pace is actually a smart decision, because you really get the chance to see the relationship that the Von Erich brothers had with one another. They're supportive, caring, and even though they do like to compete against each other, they also try to lift each other up and support one another. And this element of the movie is heightened due to the chemistry between these 4 actors. That chemistry goes a long way when selling their relationship, and it's getting to experience and understand that relationship that makes the emotional elements of the movie so impactful. On the acting side of things, Zac Efron is getting a lot of praise, and as everyone has said by now, his physical transformation for the part is very impressive.
I had to put on a little more weight for this one. I was training for 6 months pretty hard.
The one performance that a lot of people don't seem to be talking about, but should be, is that of Maura Tierney as the matriarch of the Von Erich clan, Doris Von Erich. In the past, she's played characters who are very reserved and internalize their emotions, so I was pleasantly surprised to see her give an emotionally devastating performance as this woman, who as a mother had to endure more than what anyone would consider fair. But really, everyone is good in this. Well, almost everyone. On the production side, it looks great. Cinematographer Matthias Erdely has a very natural and understated style, which works in contrast to what you would normally think of when dealing with a story about professional wrestlers. I mean, there really isn't anything understated about this. but surprisingly it works, and he and director Sean Gherkin are able to capture the late 70s and early 80s aesthetic very well.
I wear a $15,000 Rolex.
So at the end of the day, would I recommend it? Yes. I think for anyone who knows the story already, then they're certainly going to enjoy the movie. And I think if the general audience can get past the slower pacing, I think they will really like it too. Give it a look, I think you'll enjoy it. Well, that's it for this one, folks. Have you seen The Iron Claw? What did you think about it? Leave a comment below and let me know. As always, thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.